Ukraine wipes out entire Russian military unit in Soledar with single HIMARS strike. Ukraine decimated an entire Russian military unit with a single HIMARS strike in Soledar, which has become the fiercest battle on the front line of the war. Ukraine took out around 25 Russian troops with a single strike after tracking a military unit to a house in Soledar. The small salt mining town has seen the fiercest fighting of the war in months. The footage of the attack raises questions about the Russian tactics after the troops were easily tracked overhead by Ukrainian forces. In the clip, the Russian forces can be seen clearly walking along a train track in the snow-covered terrain. The armored unit was then tracked to a building that the Russians used for shelter. The Ukrainian forces simply blasted the house with a HIMARS missile, wiping out the entire building in a single strike as smoke billowed out into the air afterwards. On Friday, Russia announced that it had taken control of the salt mining town in eastern Ukraine, in what would be a rare success for Moscow. However, Kiev said its forces were still holding on and counterattacking in the town, with the Ukrainian military spokesperson Serhiy Chervatay reporting ongoing battles. Speaking in his nightly address on Friday, Ukraine's president Volodymyr Zelensky said the battle in the region continued to rage and avoided any reference to Russia's claims of control. The fight over Soledar, as well as Bakhmut in the east of Ukraine, has descended into some of the bloodiest fighting of the war so far. Regional Governor Pavlo Krylenko said on Thursday that 559 civilians, including 15 children, remained in Soledar and could not be moved out. If Russia does capture the town, victory would allow its troops to push on to the nearby city of Bakhmut and cut off the Ukrainian forces there. The battle, however, has also opened up a rift between regular Russian forces and the Russian Wagner paramilitary group, as they both battle to claim credit for the victory. Ukraine's Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov said that Wagner needed victory in Soledar to deliver some kind of proof to declare they're better than the regular armed forces of the Russian Federation. The way Russia announced that it had captured Soledar displayed the conflict between the Wagner group of mercenaries fighting for the Donetsk town and Russia's Ministry of Defense. According to the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, the U.S. think tank said there had been a significant backlash within the pro-Kremlin information space about the Russian Ministry of Defense's MOD initial lack of recognition for Wagner's role in the purported capture, rejected by Kiev, of the Donetsk town. The MOD later acknowledged that Wagner volunteers and assault detachments took part in the battle and that a heterogeneous grouping of troops had executed a joint plan in the Soledar direction. Wagner is led by the businessman Yevgeny Prigozhin, a Vladimir Putin ally but Russian military forces critic who has publicized the role that his troops have played in the battle for Soledar. The ISW said on Friday that prominent military bloggers have described an ongoing conflict between the Russian MOD and Prigozhin behind closed doors. Some military commentators believed that Prigozhin had overpowered the Russian MOD's deliberately vague rhetoric, which had forced the Kremlin to end its long-standing policy and not openly recognizing Wagner and its war efforts. The ISW also said that the Russian MOD's mention of Wagner forces was a significant victory for Prigozhin, who is likely to use the Soledar campaign as a bargaining tool to elevate his authority in Russia. Despite Russia's claims about Soledar, the situation in the salt mining town that Moscow says can be used as a springboard for an attack on the city of Bakhmut, around 9 miles further south, has not been independently verified.
Yeah.